Good morning, Casey Baseflug, Operations Section Chief for Alaska Incident Management Team. This is your operational briefing for Tuesday, November 10th, 2020. Word of the day today is icy, slick roads. We had quite a bit of moisture that came in the form of rain and snow, mainly snow in the low elevations that we normally don't get this time of year in those low elevations. And so what we're getting out there is it's really cold, as most of you probably know. They're getting some frost in the lower elevations that is normally not there. And so we're getting this freeze-thaw cycle because the roads were still somewhat warm when this event came through, and so it's freezing and thawing. And then at night, it's getting really cold, and it's refreezing on the road there. So a lot of black ice and really hazardous road conditions. So a lot of dangerous. The driving out there is really sketchy in most of the spots, pretty much around the entire fire. Even some stuff closer down to Auberry, where our folks are working. And all the way up around into Huntington Lake, Shaver Lake, 5 to 6 inches of snow in there and up to 12 inches in parts around Huntington Lake. So for our folks out in the field and for public itself, our number one priority is safety for firefighters and the public. So if you don't have to go out in this area, the forest is still closed as far as for access, so please refrain from going out there. Give our folks a break. We've had a lot of close calls on the highway. We don't want that to continue. We don't want to hurt anybody or worse. So please be aware of that and be cautious if you do have to go out there. And we're also looking at some precipitation later in the week. That'll help out with the fire growth itself, but it's gonna really hamper again us getting out in the field and doing some work on some of the suppression repair, and so we're tracking that as well. Onto the fire activity, we are into aerial supervision or aerial recon with the infrared on this fire, all the way through Saddle Mountain, Pincushion, up into Pond Lily Lake, and then north of Madera Peak up by the North Fork and Lions Fire. And so what we're seeing out there is a couple hundred type of campfires is what you can basically call them, just small areas that the fires continues to burn underneath the snow. We did get a lot of snow in those elevations, but it's not enough to absorb into the heavier fuels that's burning or in the duff layer. It can continue to burn underneath the snow. Again, you think about it as your campfire, for your folks that have been out camping and you have your campfire, you dump a little bit of water on it, it still continues to smoke and burn until you put a lot of water on it. And so that's what we're getting right now, is just that little bit of water. It's stopping the forward progression, but it's still continuing to burn areas that have already been ignited underneath the snow in small pockets of heavy materials. And so what we're also doing in some of these areas as well is up around the Bay Shore Road. We're in the 7 Road, up the DP 55, which is on the 7 Road, Bay Shore. We're having to plow to get in there and do some work. So yesterday, spent the majority of the day getting the equipment ready and plowing with the grader, and today that's what's going to continue up in there. And then down around Bass Lake, the North Fork area there, they're going to continue to do some work filling some snags and some minimal activity just because of the road conditions and amount of snow. And then around Shaver Lake and Huntington Lake, and then Rock Creek area, they're just going to continue to monitor that. And when conditions start to open up a little bit so they can get some equipment in there and start doing some work, they're going to do that as long as it's safe. So with that, have a great, safe day, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow. Thank you.